Hey guys, it is the Coaster Battleman here bringing you an interesting coaster countdown today. The top 10 roller coasters at Six Flags Over Texas. And this park is located in Texas, and they have a solid coaster lineup. The first few coasters on the list are not the most thrilling coasters, but as we move on, their coasters seem to be great thrilling scream machines for the enthusiasts and the general public, and overall are solid coasters. And I feel like there's not really a single bad coaster on this list here. And I feel like there's no true bad coaster at this park. And before they got New Texas Giant in 2011, their coaster collection was kind of like Six Flags St. Louis is now, where they had a few good coasters, but and a depthy lineup, but without that over the top coaster that would turn their park into one of the best Six Flags parks. But let's move on to number 10, which is Runaway Mountain. This is an indoor roller coaster from Premier Rides, and I know it's a family coaster, so the families will enjoy it. But I don't really know what elements are on this. I believe there is a first drop after the main lift hill, as well as a bunch of random turns through the indoor coaster, or through the building that it's in. But moving on to number 9, we have Pandemonium. This is a cloned coaster, unfortunately. But don't get too disappointed with this coaster. You should enjoy this coaster because it has some spinning. It has an aspect of spinning, which is nice. The only problem with this coaster is that it is a clone, as well as the low duration time. But overall, Pandemonium looks like a very fun coaster, but not one of the best coasters at Over Texas, because there's definitely better rides. Number 8 is Lava Bora, and this coaster is ahead of Pandemonium just because it has a more of an original layout. But Lava Bora has a cool color scheme for a bobsled, as well as some nice turns for the families to enjoy. And it's just a cool coaster that tons of families will enjoy, as well as the thrill seekers. And overall, this looks like a solid bobsled. Number 7 is the classic wooden coaster of the park, Judge Roy Scream. And this is the only wooden coaster at this park. And Judge Roy, it has a few decent airtime moments. I've heard that the airtime isn't that strong on this coaster, which is expected. Out of these Six Flags classic wooden coasters, they don't deliver the best airtime. But Judge Roy does have a few moments in there to give yourself a nice airtime-filled experience on this coaster. And this coaster is kind of rough, which makes it not as good as probably some other coasters on this list that are ahead of it. Now we're getting into the true thrilling scream machines, and I put Batman the Ride at number 6, just because it's cloned all over the place, and I'm so used to the layout. But it's still a very fun coaster. It's intense, has some nice inversions to go along with it. Even though it is a short ride, and it's cloned all over the place, it's still a very fun coaster at this park. The only reason why it's not getting higher is because it's cloned all over the place, unlike some of these next few coasters. But this is another clone here, the Joker. New for 2017, SNS 40 Free Fly. Over Texas, his lineup is going to be improved with this coaster. It has some nice bunny hops with some good flips, a few tiny drops in there, and overall this looks like a nice coaster. Not the biggest deal, but it's nice and cheap for a roller coaster. So Over Texas is getting a compliment after several years without getting a new coaster after New Texas Giant. I'm really happy they're getting the Joker for 2017. Number 4 is Shockwave, and this is a Schwarzkopf looping coaster. It has a few inversions, 2 vertical loops. Those are my favorite inversions on most coasters. And overall, Shockwave has some nice turns throughout the ride, a few nice drops as well. This is just a pretty nice coaster. That's a very fun coaster. The 2 vertical loops are definitely the best part of this coaster, though. And this is definitely one of the best coasters at Over Texas. Plus, it's not cloned like those other two coasters, which is nice. Number 3 is a similar coaster to a clone, Titan. This coaster is very similar to Goliath at Six Flags Magic Mountain and is one of the two Gio Vanilla hyper coasters. But in my opinion, Titan looks to be slightly better. It's 10 feet taller, plus has an additional helix to make the ride a longer ride. Besides that, this coaster is very similar to Goliath, but definitely one of the best coasters at this park. It has a nice opening drop, some nice turns and helixes spread throughout the ride, and I've heard that this ride delivers some great G-force, which is a plus. Number 2 is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, and this is the Premier Rides launch coaster of this park, and this was easily the best coaster at this park until 2011, but overall, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast has an awesome launch, nice inverted top hat, as well as a vertical spike that will give you some great hang time, a bank turn, and you transfer through all these elements twice, which is a plus. Plus, the inverted top hat on Mr. Freeze is one of the best top hats out there, in my opinion. But let's move on to number 1, which is the new Texas Giant that changed Six Flags Over Texas forever, in my opinion. It gave them that over-the-top coaster that would just change their park a lot and give them that super good ride to complement their lineup of rides. And this is easily the best roller coaster at Over Texas, one of the best coasters in Texas. Great bank turns, as well as some nice airtime moments. This is just a very fun RMC, nice long ride time. And it's just a perfect coaster in my opinion, even though, to me, it's the Millennium Force of RMCs. New Texas Giant is still a very fun coaster with its great overbanks, sweet moments of airtime, and awesome drop. This is a great front row coaster, great back row coaster, and just a great coaster overall. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.